Now then, you're wrong 'un. This is unfair. You're making me laugh before I've even started. Adi Blackmore, I can't believe you're having a bit of hairy pie and finishing off with a bit of Blackenberg. What a boy. Evening. Just getting myself in and making sure that everything works and we don't have any... not that I'm tempting fate, not that so that we don't have any technical problems. So, as per usual, we'll say good evening to Adi Blackmore. He's early tonight. Yeah. Audio Origami. Hello. To CM Training. Hello, yeah. Wrongin. Anybody know where the wrongin is? You were all early. I set it up. In fact, what I'm going to do on Wednesday and next Sunday, I'm going to set it up so that the live is there for plenty of time for people to go, ooh, he's live tonight. So... I normally do it sort of 10 minutes beforehand, but and hopefully I can keep up with all of your comments so far this evening. Chasing 28. Hang on, that's a newbie. Seamoon Maria. Hello, Adrian. Seamoon Maria. Andy Turner. Evening all. Evening, Andy. Sean, how do, Adrian? How do? Yeah, wrongin'. Andy Sinsky. Hi, all you rebels and wrong'uns. Indeed. Paulie Galtieri. All right, Adrian. All right, Paulie. Who else is that? Wiggy Videos. Good to see you again, Wiggy. Wiggy Videos 13. Evening all. Evening, Wiggy. Theo Bovril. Hi, Adrian. What salacious tidbits have you got for us tonight, you wrong'un? I've got a bit. Yeah, I've got a bit. I'll tell you in a second. AD can't see. He's in the dark. Bless him. Not a first for you, AD. Kevin Iverson, evening, wrong'uns. Evening, Kevin. I saw somebody sent a message and it hasn't popped. Oh, yes, it has. Chasing 28 Smith 12. Hi, wrong'un. Hi, Chasing Smith 28 12. Did I get that right? No, Chasing 28 Smith 12. Oh, is that a football score? Cricketing score? Rugby score? It's not the Rugby World Cup. Blimey. Is this Rugby World Cup taking about a year to complete? I mean, we're only through to the quarterfinals-ish, aren't we? Wales got beat. To Leeds. Hey up, Adrian. Hey up, Leeds. Wrong'un. Tucker 69. Evening, you wrong'un. And Andy Turner. Holly and Lee Française. Hey? Andy, what are you saying? Oh, baseball. Nice. Very nice. Chasing 28. Gelly Moores, I know he's old news, but are you posting the rest of series Viva Las Vegas? Oh, yeah. 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 There are things happening in the background, which I will tell you about eventually. Evening, Professor. Junior Stevens, who do you think will replace Holly Willoughby? Not me, thankfully. Mind you, 600k a year. Yeah, Paulie Galtieri, Alex Belfield and Jimmy Savile connection. Yeah, Ray Terrett. I'm going to talk about him tonight because I think I was... We'll talk about Savile in a second because I want to revisit The Reckoning. And doing a bit of research around Ray Terrett and the Mayor of Scarborough. What was his name again? Anyway, yeah, Peter Giaconelli. Sorry, old age. Peter Giaconelli. And... I'm positive I've met Ray Terrett. Positive. But it was fleeting and he was a bit creepy. But I'll explain that in just a little while because we're a couple of minutes in and I want to get straight in because evening, yeah, wrong'un. Welcome to live number 32. 42. So tonight's live, we're going to talk about Savile, The Reckoning. I've had a look at some of the bits and pieces and I'll give you my story around Ray Terrett and Peter Giaconelli because I think I've met Peter as well back in the day. And I just want to I hope that everyone that I'm going to be talking to tonight has at least watched it. If you haven't, then please forgive me because there might be a couple of spoilers in here. So we're going to talk about Savile. I'm going to talk about Madonna. She started her world tour last night. She's doing like some extraordinary, like 80 odd dates in 90 days or something ridiculous. But is this granny rock? because I'm a bit... She turns my stomach, to be fair. All that plastic surgery. Blimey, don't sit her too close to the fire. You never know, she'll look like... what's the elephant man's name, man? Madonna, Granny Rock or just empowered woman? Going to talk about the Luton airport fire. Also, Middle East conflict and Germany have decided to stick their nose into our business. What's German for off? Brilliant job, Merrick. Thank you very much. See, the gags don't work if I don't get the tagline. The gags don't work at all. So what we're going to talk about. Let me do a couple more of these because we've got some of the regulars in. Chalky weight. Yes, watch it. Even Chalky. Top of 69, I agree. Madonna needs to give it up. She probably has. To a fair amount of people, to be fair. Have you seen the book? Did I ever tell you that I was meant to interview Madonna in was it Disney World or Disneyland in Florida? I'll tell you that story in a minute. And I've also got a bit of gossip because S Club 5 now. They nearly didn't start their tour on Thursday because Madge was at it. I'll tell you the gossip that I heard in a second. Andy Turner likes Tower Block Tracy. Seamoon Maria, who would waste their money? Not me. Mind you, back in the day, I used to get freebies to loads of concerts and never went. Couldn't be bothered. Anita James, how you doing, Adrian? Anita, all the better for knowing that you're in the church this evening, in the kirk. Tower Block Tracy, isn't Madonna the same age as you? Me? Behave. I'm younger. Can't you tell? And plastic surgery free. The Saints #1. I saw Madonna twice. I saw it at Roundhay Park. I literally, where was I? I was on air, TFM, and literally everybody from the radio station piled into my car and we legged it down to Leeds to see Madonna. And I was right at the back, so it was a bit dull. Bless her. Yeah, Thomas McCartney, Madonna. Oh yeah, tell me about it. Evening, Thomas. Junie Stevens, who do you like best, Cher or Madonna? Well, neither of them. I wouldn't have taken them into the Amazonian forest. It would have melted, the pair of them. Leeds, I saw Michael Jackson at Roundhay Park. Most prolific paedophile in showbiz history, that boy. Let me tell you. Tower Block Tracy, rough paper round, Adrian. Oh, you tart. AD Blackmore, I like Freddie. Yeah, no wrong with Freddie. Love a bit of Freddie. Theo Bovril, plastic surgery free or 3? No, free. You're wrong. And the Jacobite. Hi, Adrian. Joan Rivers had all the best plastic surgery jokes. Yeah. Do you know there is a conspiracy theory that Joan Rivers is still alive? Maybe I should do that one night. I mean, it's a cracker. It is a cracker. I mean, I don't know whether as a collective we're losing our minds. I'm not really sure. But, I mean... Who would think that Joan Rivers was dead or alive? I'm just looking at Phil Ewin. Good one. Wrong one. Musically or in a sexual way? What? Joan Rivers? Or is that Madonna? Or Cher? Oh, not sure. Leeds, I don't believe he was, Adrian. Oh, I think he was, Leeds. Oh, I think he was. Let me tell you, there is a picture of Wacko outside the Houses of Parliament in Londonium. And he's with other prolific paedophiles. Now, as they say, with Ray Terrett and Jimmy Savile and Peter Giaconelli, who were part of a paedophile ring in Scarborough, who else was in that ring? Pun not intended. So, find Lord Greville Janner and Michael Jackson, Houses of Parliament. It'll help you with your research. Yeah, Wiki Videos 13. Ask Joan to call. Joan! Man, Joan! Give us a call, you wrong. Maybe you can crack an odd plastic surgery joke or 3. Rolf Harris. You see what it is yet? MJ is alive and well, living in the North Sea, bobbing up and down. on a boat. Didn't Jackson and his family look at buying property in, was it Cornwall or Devonshire? And you just think, why on earth would they want to buy houses in England? And have you noticed, Prince Andrew has something in common with Michael Jackson. They both paid somebody 12 million quid for $12 million, $18 million here, 12 million quid or $12 million in the States. Jackson paid somebody $12 million for no apparent reason. And Prince Andrew paid £12 million for no apparent reason. Isn't that a very expensive pizza, Andy, mate? Oh, what do you mean you don't know? Somebody said, and I don't think I've got the comment with me tonight, but somebody said, Adrian, I love your lives because you just have to pay attention to some of the obtuse things that you say because you're not backwards in coming forwards, are you? No. So some of the things that I'll say to you, you have to do the work, not me. So, why would Prince Andrew order a pizza for 12 million quid? Oh, didn't you know? Don't you? Do your research. That's how they order them in. Oh, you've never heard that one before? Well, there you go. Every day's a school day. Paulie Galtieri, Jana was friends with Harry Webb. I'm sure. Paulie, you can say that, but I can't possibly comment. Kitty, kitty, yeah, kitty, kitty. Tocker, 69. No pizza for Epstein. He was the chef. Oh, indeed, Tocker 69. This is getting lively tonight. Loving this. Enemy of the State. What it on iPlayer? Just lie. Not had a TV license for 5 years. No, you would. You can't watch it then. Well, maybe you can. Maybe there's other ways. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. The Jacobite, he might have just wanted to give a good tip to the waitress. Or Kevin Iverson, Domino's special. Wiggy videos. I know who Kitty is, man. You're wronging. Sean, have you heard the young lad from Leeds on the phone to Michael Jackson back in the early 80s? No? Was he ordering pizza as well? CM Training, everyone knew about Savile. I knew back in the mid-80s his brother was just as bad. Oh yeah, because Savile was the youngest, wasn't he? Youngest of 7. Oh, do you know, I could sit here and just chat with you in these comments all night. Wonderful. Obama orders 65 grand of hot dogs delivered to a party at White House. Was he slipping somebody a sausage? Changing 28, Smith 12. Dinky-doo. Dinky-doo. Somebody in the comments the other day said, yeah, why don't you get Scotty on your live? You could do a live together. That would be fun. Scotty and I have actually spoken about it, but he's busier than me, man. But we will eventually do it, probably sometime 2028. But yeah, me and Scotty are, I'm a bit of a fanboy, so I might get starstruck if I have Scotty on me live and I'm on Scotty's live, but it would be uproarious. I mean, they probably would throw us off YouTube, knowing our luck. But, oh, yeah, he's one of the best, as far as I'm concerned. In my very humble opinion, Scotty is one of the best phone-in guys there's ever been. Ever been. Right, stop that. Stop distracting me with comments. You're wrong. Even though they're fabulous, I've got to get stuck into this because we've got lots to talk about tonight. So let's get into Savile first. The Reckoning. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, the Savile Reckoning, it was it was made by the BBC. No one. It was broadcast by the BBC. It was made by ITV Studios. And do you know something? It was ITV that outed Savile. Mark Williams Thomas. He was the guy, and it was a documentary on ITV. And that ITV doc, they tried to stop it. Didn't want it broadcasted. Oh, I bet they didn't. But it was like all these victims came out and started telling their stories. So it was ITV that outed Savile. It was ITV Studios that made this. And Steve Coogan. I mean, do you know something? I'm not sure about you, but I can't watch that again. I watched it once, and I think it would have even more impact second time round. So I don't, I can't watch it again. Every episode, I'm sure you'll agree, gripping and harrowing in equal measures. Is this so? A question that's on everybody's lips at the moment, which is, why did they make it? Why? Why would they make it? Do they want this as a warning from the past? Do they want this because the victims then were simply ignored? But the victims didn't dare speak out. And the wonderful thing that they've done with The Reckoning is they've had the actual victims of Savile bookend. We call it top and tail in radio. Top and tail, the episodes at the beginning and the end. Yeah, Jacobite, you're kind of there because they all knew we would watch it, sadly. Yeah, I do get that. But is it, are they using it as a documentary evidence, as in a document, not a documentary, as evidence for the future? So it would be a warning from the past from anybody that would think about doing it. The thing is, though, Savile was making big numbers, big viewing figures, big numbers, big radio audience. So in essence, everything that he touched turned to gold. And yet, maybe that's why nobody stopped him. Maybe that's why he kept getting away with it. And wasn't it in 1971 they had this Billy Cotton? They made the BBC aware, and they had an inquiry. And Savile just got away with it. He just kept calling people fantasists. He said, "Oh, they're fantasists," and they believed him. They believed Jimmy. So I would say it's a very challenging watch. I can't say that I enjoyed it, and I'm not sure whether you would agree with that, or maybe you will. But tell me, is that Steve Coogan's tour de force? Is that the best performance that Steve Coogan has ever given? Whether it be comedy or drama, and do you believe he's worthy of awards? And tell me in the comments. Actually comment about this. Do you believe that he should win awards, or should he not win awards because of the subject matter? Because then it would be glorifying Savile. Interesting. Stan and Ollie. Eddie Blackmore says, "I'm a Steve Coogan fan, but I won't watch it." I will now say, because I know during the week I didn't really use any spoilers. I didn't want to spoil it for everyone. You've had nearly a week to view it. Sean, did you ever meet Mark Page? Sean, let me write that one down, because I know Mark very well. Well, not that well, but you know what I mean. Oh yes, I've met. First time I met him, he was wearing leather trousers. It was like, Jesus, Mark. Yes, I'll comment about Mark Page in a second. Is he doing about 18 years now? And Mark Page was seriously unsavoury. Seriously. But the thing so I watched the Savile, The Reckoning, and I was mesmerised by Steve Coogan. But there's two things that I couldn't stomach at all. Was, and I said to you on Wednesday, it was when he said to one of his victims, "Don't tell anyone, otherwise we'll get into trouble." The very words that were said to me. Don't tell anyone, we'll get into trouble. And that, I froze, literally froze. And the other thing was the scene in the morgue in episode 4. Now, you don't see anything, but we all knew that Savile, I've told you this before, it was well known in the 80s, certainly in radio, that Savile wanted to do the fandango with dead people. So I see this scene in the morgue in episode 4 and literally turned my stomach. And I thought to myself, Because his mother stayed with him, didn't she? He had his mother in the house on his own. And I thought, do you think he did? I mean, there was nothing that stopped him. I mean, as he said, what's the point of committing the perfect crime if nobody knows about it? So that literally just turned my stomach. Turned it. So I'd love to know your thoughts. And we'll kind of move on from Savile before the next live. But keep your thoughts coming. Junior Stevens, I think Steve Coogan will win awards. Interesting. Wow, CM training. My mother caught him coming out outside of the morgue in, is that Leeds General Infirmary? AD Blackmore. I got interviewed by Mark Page in the Riverside at half time at a Borough game. Got a pic with him. Now I've put it in the bin. So I'll tell you about Mark Page. I was just getting into radio. And Mark had been at Radio Tees in the Northeast, and he was literally Mr. Middlesbrough. He was Radio Tees. He was the only guy. And I've seen his figures. My program controller, commercial radio is ruled by figures. It's ruled by how many people you've got listening and how long you've got them listening. And my belief is that Mark Page was hired by Radio 1 because they couldn't get into the Teesside audience. Radio 1 was stuffed. Mark Page had a 92% reach. That means 92% of the people in that catchment area were listening to him at breakfast and not Radio 1. So all Radio 1 had to do is just hire him and then just stick him in the backwaters. And then, sure enough, Page's figures tumbled. The guy that took over after him just fell through the floor to the point where Radio Tees was... it was in a real bad way. I mean, the station was losing 25 grand a month. Now, that might not sound a lot today. There's social media influencers making more than that. But at that time, 25 grand was a lot of money to lose, a lot. So it was going under, and that's when we were bought out by Metro. But Pagey was... I had an odd relationship with him. He lived in a place called Elton. Nice big mansion place. And I said to him, here, is your toilet called the Elton John? He didn't laugh. Mind you, it is you. So Pagey was always Mr. Middlesbrough. And I've played football against him. I once saved a penalty against him. If you don't know who Mark Page is, just Google him, honestly. But make sure you're not in work. It's not suitable for work, NSFW. So kind of, I've known Pagey since 84. He was a shareholder. The first time I met him, I was on air, and he came into the studio at Radio Tees, and he was coming in for a shareholders meeting, probably to discuss the takeover by Metro. And, oh, Adrian! No, then Mark. And, you know, for a boy that's just getting into radio, I was a bit starstruck. I was like, blimey, Mark Page, me, Mark Page, Radio 1 Mark Page. And I'm sitting here in a Radio T studio and he's talking to me. Well, fast forward a few years. I mean, it couldn't have been any more unsavoury if he'd tried. I mean, he was buying kids out in the Far East and then asking for kids who were really, really young, like ordering a pizza. Pizzagate in America. Google it, because it's all over the net. Well, it was when I looked about 10 years ago. That's what they did. The different pizzas, that's how they ordered the kids. But I got told by a really close friend, who shall remain nameless for the moment. He said, whoa, have you heard about Pagey? And I was like, no, why? Because there was another guy called Tom Davies, who I know, who was a couple of years younger than me and went to the same school as me and then ended up doing the late night phoning on TFM and various other places. And he got done for having unsavoury stuff on his computer. And when the judge asked him, what's this for? He said, oh, it's for, I'm making a documentary. And the judge didn't believe him. Killed himself 2 days before he was sentenced. But Pagey's in for, I mean, whole bunch of time. I mean, I think he was originally sentenced to 12 years and he's had it extended. So, I mean, I look back at my radio career thinking that a lot of the guys that I met, it was, they were decent guys. They were just like me. They were just trying to get on and have fun and do radio, because radio is the best fun. It is simply the best fun. But there's so many creepy characters that have come out of the woodwork the last 10 years. Pagey, Davies, I mean, I told you the Battenberg story, which will go into folklore, I'm sure, now. And don't forget it, you're wrong. Sean, I'm not sure about that. I don't think so. That's not even his real name. Uncle Stephen. Oh, there was that couple from BBC Radio Leicester. She used to... I mean, I'm sure this kind of stuff went on at all the radio stations. There was always stuff. I was more worried about drugs because I'm zero tolerance around recreational stuff. Zero tolerance. And I just thought, well, you know, there's a whole lot of coke floating around. I know some of the boys that have been in rehab because they were doing far too much Colombian marching powder just to keep them up, to get them on air. But I never thought about some of the stuff that's come out subsequently. But there was... Rocky. Yeah. Rocky Akhenaten. If you're not blackmailable, you don't get the job. There is that. I mean, there is a radio station, I'm not going to name it, but I had a job there, and the job in the car and a $3,000 wage rise was given to somebody else because he fancied him. I mean, obviously, I'm hetero. I'm dead straight. I mean, you know, I don't care what people get up to in the privacy of their own bedroom with the doors closed and the curtains drawn. But when you're taking my job off me and giving it to somebody else because you fancy them and want to get him into bed. Dom Wigley, why hasn't Wootton been arrested yet? So bloomin' angry. Dom, hang on. I've got that in a minute, man. I'm just trying to get through Savile and I'm being distracted by having to tell you stories. By the way, 129 of you. There's only 29 likes. Yeah, tightwads. Utter wrong-uns. Go on, smash the thummy thing. Give me some likes. It does actually help the algorithm. So, Savile. That's it in an eggshell. Mark Page. Maybe I'll tell you the full story. But that, when he was in court, the stuff that was coming out. Again, me and my mates were like, whoa, Pagey's been up with that, man. No, absolutely, categorically unacceptable. And that's why he's doing, was it 18 years? Right, as soon as you've asked, who was it? Don Wigley. Why hasn't Wootton been arrested yet? So bloomin' angry. I was going to say to you a little bit later on, but I'll do it now. What has happened to Dan Wootton? Has he been abducted by aliens? Where's the 35 grand gone? Can you remember when it all kicked off? I'm innocent. Oh, by the way, give us some money. And people donated 35 grand to a GoFundMe, and that's disappeared. I mean, literally disappeared. Him and the aliens, woof, off to Mars. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk has decided to take him to Mars as the first victim. I don't know. But he's disappeared. Now, they could have taken him to one side and gone, look, Max, Branning. Max Branning was the character from EastEnders. Somebody's put Max in there. So, in the comments tonight, now I can't get rid of it. But Dan Wootton opened a crowdfunding account, 35 grand it amassed. Now the account's been taken down. It now shows an error 404 webpage. Not available message. Where's the money gone? Oh, here, Dan. Where's the money gone, bunny lad? Now, have they, no, not Max Clifford, Gary. Maybe they've sidelined him and gone, right, keep your head down. saying out. You're sacked, by the way. Or has he just sort of gone down the fire escape and nobody will find him again? Dan Wootton, I mean, he's slipperier than a very slippery thing that's covered in slippery stuff. But no, I don't know where he's gone. He's not on GB News, that's for sure. 600 grand a year. Hang on, has Holly Willoughby swapped jobs? She was on 600 Gs. He's on 600 Gs. They just had to go here. You take GB News and I'll take This Morning. Don Wigley, theory he's gone crying to Daddy Murdoch. Really? I have got a bit of a, I can't do it here. But if you did your own research, did I know Kevin Greening? Yeah, Men in Once, Sean. Yeah. And what happened to Kevin at Radio 1 was awful. Lovely, lovely man. But, you know, it's like Moyles. I met Moyles at Air FM. He was a spotty 16-year-old, but it was doing overnights while I was doing Drive. I'm sure he goes, oh, yeah, Adrian who? So, I don't know. That's what I was going to tell you. There is something that I know about Dan Wootton that I can't put here. I have to think about it. But, I'll tell you now, it's connected to the Royals. Irrefutable proof. Connection to the Royals. And you can guess as much as you want. But I'll say it when the time's right. And it'll take your breath away. Trailblazer. Wrong. Apparently, Wootton is selling his house in London and is moving to Scotland with his partner. What would he go to Scotland for? I did that for 10 years. I was in Scotland. Yeah, 10 years. Loved it. Lovely people, lovely place. Made some fabulous lifetime friends. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I had some of the Scots at my wedding. But what would he go up there for? There's now up there. Apart from beautiful scenery. And great falling down water. Nothing better than a bit of grog. So I've no idea where Dan Wootton is, but maybe I'll do a separate video about it. But I am telling you, I can link Dan Wootton to the Royals in 2 moves. 2. And just to give you the heads up, why is it that we now have to call it X, formerly known as Twitter? Why do we always have to do that? Are we going to get tired of that? But seemingly X, the chief exec, and wasn't the chief exec of... Now, this is kind of... you're only ever, they say, 3 handshakes removed from anybody else in the world. Now, the chief exec of X, Twitter, used to be the chief exec of the agency that Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby were signed to. Over the weekend, chief execs come out and said, yeah, we're going to be getting rid of fake news. Fake news. And terrorist accounts. Now, we will talk about the Middle East in just a little while, but I just thought to myself, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. Or you can reverse it if you wish. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. So who are they to determine who the terrorist is? Rumour from Washington, the Democrats will allow Donald Trump to run for Speaker of the House if he agrees not to run for president in 2024. So there's Donald deciding, do I go for the presidency? It's going to be a landslide. I mean, they can try and stick me in jail if they want. Nothing sticking. Teflon Don. Or do I go for Speaker of the House? He's going to go for president, isn't he? Going to go for president. Before I move on, Holly Willoughby, we mentioned her there. Now, I want to know, do you feel any sympathy for Holly Willoughby? I mean, you know where you'll find sympathy, don't you? It's between shit and syphilis in the dictionary. So, do you feel any sympathy or even compassion for Holly Willoughby? 600 grand a year, multi-millionairess Holly Willoughby. Because the thing that I can't work out is she's got so many millions in deals on the side. Why would you give that up? Would you walk away from that? She didn't over the summer. I mean, when the brown doo-doo was definitely hitting the fan around Philip Schofield. Good one, Kevin. Wouldn't stand at the bus stop with her. She absolutely put the steel stuff in his front, let alone his back. Oh, stuff you. I mean, around the time his brother was sentenced, she had a face on her like a smack derriere. Now she's saying, I can't go on holiday. Normally, she goes on holiday with her kids. I mean, you know, how the other half lives. She normally goes on half-term holiday with her kids to a Portuguese holiday home. She's saying, I can't go. I won't. I'm refusing to leave me home, me English home. She talks like that in private. Now, if the rumours are true, let me give you this. If the rumours are true, she and Philip, unwise but not illegal, Schofield, are in negotiations to present a BBC version of a mid-morning TV show. I mean, are these people tone deaf? The reason why she's had to go is because the public were deserting her. Because they were losing viewing figures hand over fist. So there's either been a couple of crisis points, and they've said, look, this barrister that's doing the investigating, Holly, we found this man, and we found that man, and we found, and if this comes out, So you've got two options. You can either walk, or we're going to push you. Because I said to you back in May, I think it was May, June, before they broke for summer recess, that what ITV will do, they'll look at the format, they'll look at the presenters, they'll look at everything. They'll either blow it all up completely, reformat it, and come back with something new, something that would bring the viewers back, because they knew that this morning was toxic, completely toxic. So they've either had a quiet word in her shell-like and said, look, Holly, you're going to have to go. We'll pay you up to the end of your contract, December. We'll pay you till then. And you're going to have to go. Because this is coming out, the barrister's saying this and this and this and this. So did she walk, or was she allowed to give a statement? And then her contract was paid up till the end of the year. Because her contracts will only run till December. There was no new contract for next year. That'll be why Holly Willoughby's come out and said, can I do Dancing on Ice? I still want to do Dancing on Ice. Yeah, I'll definitely do Dancing on Ice. Do it for now, Holly. But that rumour, can you imagine? Philip, unwise but not illegal Schofield. And Holly on mid-mornings on the BBC. I mean, the BBC don't really have anything to combat this morning at all, do they? I mean, there was Schofield. Sorry, I nearly said something that I don't want to come out. He's keeping his head down. Everything to do with Holly and Philip, unwise but illegal, is managed within an inch of its life. It's PR like you've never seen before. They're spending a shed load of money on making sure that their names are squeaky clean. But would you watch it? Was she walked or was she pushed? She's been allowed to make a statement. And look, I've been sacked by a few radio stations because they couldn't control me, to be fair. They just, some of them, they never, ever, ever, ever allow you to do your last show. They never allow you. You come off air, they go, Holly, come have a word. Oh, Paul M. Evening, Paul. Good to know that you're here. Thank you very much. Yeah, wrong. So you do your last show, and invariably, because there's an air, there's an atmosphere. You come off air, and the boss goes, my office. Oh, here we go. I suppose I'll have to hand the car back. So you go in the office and they go, right, I've had enough. You've done your last show. Some of my close friends who were also my bosses have said, look, just do your show tonight and then be on your way. Good point, Peter Newey. Why are the viewing figures important to the BBC when its revenue is guaranteed? But is it, Peter? And how long is that license fee going to stay in place? So maybe they... Blimey. Stuart, that's amazing. Adrian, did you hear the joke Piers Morgan said to Philip on GMB just after we went into lockdown? You come out and the whole world goes in. It's very funny. That is, to be fair, very funny. So, Holly still wants to do Dancing on Ice. There's really strong rumours, and I told you months ago, nearly 6 months ago, that she was going to jump ship. 2 million on the table. Jump ship. Now, I don't think that she's going to go to Strictly. I don't think she's going to go there because the others still have a couple of years left on their contracts. And the BBC are not ones for changing things for the sake of changing things, and they're not one for paying off huge amounts of contract. I understand that I'm not sure this is big enough, but 300 grand a piece for the Fringe and the Blonde. A year, so there's over $1 million to pay them off just to get rid of them. I don't think they're that loose with their money at the BBC. Certainly they weren't with me, the wrong ones. But would you watch Holly and Phil on mid-mornings? And they will manage that bit of PR to within an inch of its life. But Dancing on Ice, would I watch it? I don't watch Dancing on Ice as it is. Too dangerous for me. Couldn't skate to save my life, mind you. I can't ski either. Much. What else was I going to talk to you about? We've done Savile. Madonna. So I've got 2 stories about Madonna. So she kicked off a world tour last night at London's O2 Arena. And can I just speak my truth? Can I just sort of say to you? A granny in fishnets. How are man? No, be like pulling a cheese toastie apart. Madonna in fishnets, stop that. It's not attractive, it's not big, and it's not clever. But Little S Club, you know, Paul sadly died a little while ago. But Little S Club, who wanted to do their tour, they nearly weren't able to start their tour at the Manchester AO Arena because Madonna, was... she was practicing at Manchester Arena. She'd been rehearsing at the AO Arena for the last week ahead of the London O2. So she wanted to get in the country so she's not jet lagged or anything. I mean, at her age, she probably needs a nap every afternoon. But her dates started yesterday, Saturday, but S Club wanted to start at the Manchester Arena on Thursday. But the rehearsals for Madonna's tour weren't going particularly smoothly. Not only did she have to extend the rehearsals in Manchester because of everything had fallen so far behind schedule, these practices, these rehearsals were going on each night until 2 a.m. to get everything finished. I mean, blimey, I'm surprised she's been able to get on stage. Now, it takes about 9 hours to load out Madonna's show. She's got 48 trucks of gear, 48 of them. So there was a fair amount of panic that she'd overrun again on the Wednesday night into the Thursday, and they weren't sure that she was going to be clear of the Manchester Arena for S Club to get their gear and their people in the Manchester Arena, because Madonna would still be in there, her gear would still be in there. Now, S Club was supposed to start at 7 a.m. on Thursday to get, their riggers in, their tour in, and get all their gear to start to be uplifted and sorted at Manchester Arena. Madonna, I mean, not her personally, but her team, didn't manage to close the last door of her trucks until 6:30 a.m. You won't see that reported anywhere in the newspapers, that's for sure. But I'm not. Maybe I'm being unkind. Look, I saw Madonna live from a distance, a big distance around A Park. She was a game changer. She was very rapidly ambitious. I mean, very, very ambitious. She was a dancer and then fell in with Jelly Bean Benitez because he was a DJ and he could remix stuff. And this is back in the 80s. And then she ditched Jelly Bean Benitez because there was an actor, Sean Penn. She married him. She wanted to become an actor. And then she ditched him. She married a director because she wanted to be a director. And now she wants to be a granny running about on stage with a knee brace on. I mean, I know she's not doing very well, but let me tell you a story. Back in the day, Madonna and I were going to meet. Genuinely, this is straight up and down, we were going to meet. I was flown out to Disney in Florida, and it was for the premiere of Dick Tracy, the film. They premiered it at Disney in Florida. Warren Beatty was there, interviewed Warren Beatty. Dustin Hoffman was there, interviewed Dustin Hoffman. And Madonna, I mean, she was huge, massive, the biggest star in the world. This is 1990, biggest star in the world. Nobody could get anywhere near her. I remember when Jonathan Ross interviewed her for the first time. It was like a big deal on British television. Massive deal in 1990. We only had a couple of channels. Well, we did have that square thing on the side of the house, the square reel. But so I managed, a bit like Yossi Hughes from Boys of the Black Stuff. I can do that. Gives a job. I can do that. So I contacted Liz Rosenberg, her publicity agent, and said, Liz, I'm coming across from English TV. I'm going to be there in Florida. Can I interview Madonna? And I was there when she did her first ever TV stint, dance recording thing for the Tube at in Manchester. And it was, okay, yeah, okay. So I thought, blimey, if Liz Rosenberg, who was known in the industry for being a bit of a Rottweiler, if she's saying, yeah, I'll just get confirmation, then it's as good as. So it was getting closer and closer and closer. I then flew out to Florida, did the interview with some of the other stars of the film, Dick Tracy, but Disney, fearing that the launch would become about Madonna and not anybody else, it literally would be about Madonna and not the film Dick Tracy, that it would kill the film. So I get a phone message to my room. I think I was staying in the Swan Hotel, and my cameraman pointed his camera, which had this amazing zoom lens on it, which we could see right into sort of the presidential suite halfway up the Dolphin. So there's the Swan Hotel and the Dolphin was directly opposite. She was in there and I was here, and we were looking and we saw Madonna wandering about. It's like, oh, she's there, she's on site. So I ring Disney and go, look, I know Madonna's on site, so are you going to sort the interview? And Disney went nuts. She's not on site. She's not on site. She's nowhere near. She's not at this premiere. And I said, yeah, yes, she is. My cameraman's seen her. No. He's seen Madonna. So I ring Liz Rosenberg. She's busy. So I think the word had gone from Disney to Liz, Liz to Madonna, Madonna to Liz, Liz to Disney, to Wrong and Adrian, you're not doing the interview. And all I got from a few hours later, I was out having dinner or doing another recording. I think we off to see Arachnophobia, which was premiered at the same time. And Liz said, Adrian, I'm really sorry. Madonna's not on site, so there's no interview. I was like, I mean, at the time we were going to make huge money. You could have made huge money. And it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So I don't even know whether Liz Rosenberg is still her PR, whether she's her publicity agent, but I was that close to interviewing Madonna in Florida at Disney at the premiere of the Dick Tracy film. I'm sure she's kicking herself now. Over here, London O2 Arena, sold out, tens of thousands of people screaming her name. And she's like, I wish I'd done that interview with Adrian. Wrong. So what else are we going to talk about? Here, can I just pass a comment about Germany? So, Sir Kid Starver is, we don't trust him as far as we can spit him. Is that the general consensus? So he's like, oh, yeah. Pink Roses. Adrian, you should write a book with your knowledge and gossip. Oh, Pink Roses, you're too kind. I wonder what I could write a book about. The Jacobite, do you still have that interview you did with Dustin Hoffman? Yeah, somewhere in my archive. Yeah, somewhere. And do you know what got me the interview? Hello, Mr. Hoffman. Hello, Mr. Hoffman. Hello, Dustin. So when you've got all these Americans shouting and calling and can I, he'd only just finished a run in the West End here. He'd been doing a play here, and it was only like 2 or 3 or maybe 3-4 weeks later, he was at the Dick Tracy premiere. So hearing an English voice, he literally parted ways and came to me. All I had to do was go, Mr. Hoffman, hello, Dustin, because all the Americans, wrong-uns. The English accent, the Americans love it, man. They love it. So that was what got me and we were in this massive auditorium, and it was obviously the premiere of the film and all the big stars. Warren Beatty was there, and Rongan Allen went down the front, just barged me way down the front and said to the boy with a microphone, "Here, I'm from English TV. Can I just ask a question?" And he was so bamboozled. He just kind of went, "Yeah." There's all these Americans with their hands up trying to ask questions of Warren Beatty. I said, "Warren, Adrian Allen, English TV. Can we have an interview, please?" And there was silence. I said, "I think it's really important. Europe's a massive market. Can I have an interview, please?" In front of what must have been 500 or 600 American press, easily. And he just went, "Yeah, okay." And I looked at the guy. I said, "See, just ask the organ grinder, not the monkey." And walked off. And we did an interview. It wasn't very long. It was only 5 or 10 minutes, but we did a quick interview a little bit later. So Pink Roses, maybe I should put them down in a book. Who knows? I want to talk about the Germans. So Kid Starver, he's like, "Oh, we better have..." Oh, Rich, that's brilliant. Rich says, "I had a 3.5-inch floppy in the 80s. Now I've got a hard drive." Brilliant, Rich. Very good. So Europe, we know it's Brexit, but not as we know it, Jim. We know that the minute the Labour Party get in, so Kid Starver, he's going to go, a bit like Ted Heath. Have I told you my stories about Ted Heath yet? And Greville Janner. Ted Heath, Greville Janner and Sir John Gielgud. Have I told you those yet? Wait. It's worth the wait. So, Ted Heath. People used to ask questions. Why is he not married? Why is he not married? So he said, "Oh, we're going to go into the common market." Now, I'm old enough to remember that. Maybe I should go to Madonna's plastic surgeon. I'm old enough to remember that, in the early 70s. Remember it vividly. We're going into the common market. Oh, there's batter mountains. There's all kinds of freebies coming from Europe. It's a wonderful thing. Oh, yes, we should join the common market. Little did we know, it wasn't just going into the common market. They nearly bankrupt the country. Because remember, John Major and what's-his-face's Chancellor, Norman Lamont, stood on the steps of 10 Downing Street and said, we're going to have to come out of the exchange rate mechanism. We didn't even know we were in the ERM, the exchange rate mechanism, until he told us, John Major, that we were in and we're going to have to come out because it's going to bankrupt the country. Same with Ted Heath. Oh, it's just a common market, just a common market. So now it's a Kid Starver. Oh, yeah, we'll accept 100,000 illegal immigrants and, we'll just have better ties with Europe. What are those then? And I'm going to quote this German Chancellor, He said we should undo Brexit. We should exit Brexit. Berlin's finance chief, Christian Lindner, told the BBC Britain should intensify. Yeah, exactly. Intensify our relationship with Europe. This is a standing invitation for the United Kingdom. If you want to intensify your trading relationship with the European Union, call us. That's what they did in the early 70s, common market. So why don't they just release the barriers and the borders and the stuff that doesn't allow us to trade freely with Europe? Because we're already trading freely with other parts of the world, mind you. The politicians are trading freely and filling their pockets. So the German Chancellor, when Germany's economy is tanking, because you know that, I'm going to give you a bit of a history lesson here, and I know it's late, but so 9/11, within a week of 9/11, Bush the junior, has Putin at his ranch in Texas, and they put together a deal which meant that they could get the oil out of the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea. Now, the oil in the Caspian Sea, that's why the Russians went into Afghanistan in the 80s and they couldn't beat the Afghanistanis at war. So they left. They tried to get the Caspian Sea oil. And at that point, this is 20 years ago, conservative estimates was there was $3 trillion worth of oil under the Caspian Sea. And what they were going to do is they were going to build a pipeline, and the Russians and Americans agreed to this. They were going to build a pipeline from the Caspian Sea through the Balkans, through to Germany, to power Germany's economy. And they never did. Don't know why. But there was another pipeline going to be built from the Black Sea, or was it Caspian Sea, down through Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, the Tora Bora mountain range, where Osama bin Laden was supposedly in his CIA-built cave, down to a warm water port in Pakistan so they could get the oil around the world. And there was going to be a pipeline from the Black Sea, that's it, the Black Sea, through the Balkans to Germany to power Germany's economy. And this muppet is saying, tell Great Britain, the United Kingdom, that they should intensify their relationship with Europe. You know what that's going to say, don't you? Let's quickly get to Luton Airport. Now, whatever the outcome of the findings of 1,500 cars going, I've seen the video of the vehicle on fire. So the word was somebody was driving it, got it into the airport car park and jumped out and legged it because the car was already on fire. And I've seen the video that somebody took of the car on fire. Now, I don't know how long the person taking the video hung around for. I presume it wasn't very long because it went nuclear. So is this the last of electric vehicles we've seen? Because the insurance company is going to be looking at going, how much? It's gone very, very quiet about that electric vehicle, that EV or hybrid, however you want to talk about it. But there was an electric battery in that car. Electric vehicles no more. They wanted us. Remember net zero? Oh, yeah, everybody's going to have an electric car by 2030. Did they? Nah. Schoolboy Sunak. The rich little un. I mean, honestly, he's jockey height, that boy. How can you have anybody leading? I mean, look at Donald Trump. He's about 10 foot tall. Look at his son, Barron. He's at least a giant. And then we've got Schoolboy Sunak. No, don't crack that gag, Adrian. Don't. So, can you imagine being that small? What would you smell all the time? Andrew, I love your forgotten knowledge, AA, on the EEC. Oh, yeah. They landed us right in it. I'm going to cut it short at Well, actually, normally I go for 75 minutes, an hour and a half. But until I get to 100 likes, you're wrongin'. Wrongins. So please smash the likes before I go. A hybrid. The fire started as an explosion from under the passenger seat, the place where the hybrid battery is sited. Theo Bovril, thank you for that. Oh, Lauren Taylor, Trumpton, Hugh, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble End, Grub. Wasn't it? I am old enough. Wiggy Videos, Ludwig, Van Beethoven. What are you having completely random conversations with each other whilst I'm knocking me pipe out doing this live? Good documentary on here, Adrian, called Bitter Lake by Sea Moon Maria, Adam Curtis. Love his work. All watched over by machines of loving grace. Adam Curtis is an amazing, amazing documentary. So maker, it's called Bitter Lake. Thank you, Sea Moon Maria. I'll write that down. I'll have a watch of that. Right, we're 7 off. Like, please. Yeah, wrongin'. What am I going to say to round this off? Charente shooting. Don't forget your toothbrush. AD Blackmore. AD, what are you doing now? Right, I'm not going to be distracted by all these comments. I'm going to round off by a couple of comments that were left on the Savile video about the reckoning. Simply because I do believe that if you knock on every door, you'll find a story. Every door. And that's why the phone-in that is coming, I will tell you that today I spent most of the day working on logistics, working on the technical stuff and the logistics of how we're going to do the phone-in, because I don't want to do a phone-in that's not professional and entertaining. I've done it for 44 years. So, no, make that 34 years. I'm not as old as I think I am. And I do believe that doing a phone-in gives people a voice, a place to be heard and discuss things. And the reason why I want to read these couple of comments out is because there's stories in these comments. The first one is from Dame Anna. Evening, Dame Anna. She says, Adrian, my daughter was lucky enough to be invited to Top of the Pops studio through a school friend's father who was in the business. All the girls were very excited, but when they got there, they realised that once the show started, all the doors were locked and there was no way out of there. The girls freaked out and started kicking off. They were let out simply because of who the dad of the friend was. I don't know who the presenter was on the day, but my child was terrified at the idea of being packed like sardines in a room with no way out. Thank you, Dame Anna. Paul Flint, Savile was truly evil. That's what I was going to tell you about Ray Terrett. I know that people have asked me about Ray Terrett and his relationship with Dougie, the convicted stalker. I am sure, because the way that radio worked back in the day was if you were on the radio, there were lots of people that wanted to be on the radio. They wanted to be stars or whatever, and they wanted to be on the radio. And a lot of people would hang around, presenters, DJs, whatever you want to call them, broadcasters. They would hang around just on the off chance that they might be able to be in the building or do something in the building. That's how I got my start in radio. I was a gopher. I was working on a friend's show. I would get the vinyl records out. I would write quiz questions. I would answer the phones. And then one day I'm walking down a corridor, and my dear friend Dave Jameson, who was the program controller, he said to me, Adrian, what are you doing next week? And I said, the usual stuff. Oh, this. He said, no, you're presenting the afternoon show. What? Yeah, come to my office tomorrow morning. You're going to be presenting the afternoon show next week. That's how I got my start in commercial radio. I'd already done hospital radio for many years. So Ray Terrett, I am sure I have met on my travels, because I've worked for all the Northwestern radio stations. And it was only when I saw pictures of him that I thought, hang on, I've met him. Is that Ray Terrett? Because I know somebody said to me, what about Ray Terrett and Dougie? And I said, I don't know, because I wasn't around Dougie at the time he would have met Ray Terrett. But looking at the pictures, I have. But I didn't know at the time. He got jailed, died in jail, because he'd been just completely unnecessary. Elas Star, Agnes knew. Now, didn't Savile's mother, I know they do it in The Reckoning, but didn't Savile's mother say in confessional to the priest, there's something dark about James, something dark. So I believe she knew what he was up to, but couldn't go to the police. I mean, we don't know what he did to her. We don't know what she knew about him, but it was a very unsavoury relationship. And that scene in the morgue in episode 4 of The Reckoning, and he had his mother, the Duchess, at home on their own. I don't need to say any more than that. B. Palmer, Adrian, on Savile, I knew him a bit through work. Savile in the flesh had an aura of cruelty. The way you describe it is exactly right. Red top readers and how the masses could be played. At the height of red top circulation was his specialist subject. That was his talent. I have to give him that. From first-hand experience, in all honesty, he could be interesting when holding court. I agree. Savile was about power. He dealt with people upwards who had power, or downwards who he felt power over. Sideways with peers, not so much. His how to play the masses is how I believe he gained access to those above, and for sure he deployed it on the wider population, which I think from observation is when he was comfortable. Savile couldn't deal with people on a level with him. From what I saw, I absolutely recognise the dismissive grunt. I was saying that the first time I met Savile, I was just, being nice to him, a young guy making his way in radio. Hello, Jim. That's sir to you. And then just grunted at me. So that's why B. Palmer says, I absolutely recognise the dismissive grunt. I agree, that was power. In Savile's head, it was the sign that you're not powerful enough to be useful or low status enough to be malleable. Rolf Harris was just the same. Savile, Harris, Glitter, Clement Freud, what company? I heard they liked to sleep around, but apart from Glitter, never any whiff of anything illegal. Learn and look out for the signs. Thank you, B. Palmer. To Kale S. Oh, Adrian, I'm watching from Orkney, but originally from North Yorkshire. God's country, Kale. And knew Scarborough well. Not a great fan of Coogan, but when I heard his voice, I first thought it was Savile. His performance was astonishing. I saw they didn't film in Scarbados. Remember it well, Kale. Which was sensitive of them. Anyway, love your work. Keep on telling the truth. Will do, Kale. Thank you very much. Tracy Ann Cannon. Hi, Adrian. Well, how amazing is Steve Coogan in The Reckoning? Although it is disturbing, I feel compelled to watch. Savile was a right nasty wrong'un. Jen Wolfe. I'm not going to... Jen, I'm not going to mention the first name, but Ted Efe got off very lightly, as did Sir John Gielgud and Lord Greville Janner. So they say. Norman Taylor, just watched the last episode. Absolutely harrowing. I don't think I've heard anyone suggest he was a narcissist as well. Have you? He was a psychopath. I mean, he wanted to do things to dead people. I mean, what on earth is that about? Polar Sky, that's very true about carrying guilt for the rest of your life, Adrian. I speak from experience, but not with Savile. Thank you, Polar Sky. And final comment from Chris Sumner. Still think it was rich that the BBC screened and commissioned the drama, but in all seriousness, it was a great watch and was very moving. Steve Coogan played the role brilliantly, and hopefully it'll go some way to making sure that something like this never happens again. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for joining me for tonight's live. It's gone on a little longer than I anticipated. I didn't get through a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about. We'll save that for Wednesday. The next live, don't forget, is Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Sundays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. always, unless I tell you otherwise, unless life gets in the way and I've got to go and do other things. If you want to follow me further daily, it's X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. It is at Adrian Allen. That simple. At Adrian Allen on Twitter, and I'll start to post stuff before we get to videos on this channel and lives on this channel. So I've got to be careful, obviously. I'll have to watch what I say, because some things can't be said, but some things can, if I can dance around them. And that's why I do dance around with some of the information, because I can't give it to you straight, so to speak. I'm a married man. It has to be a dance, because if the truth that I know and I told it, I wouldn't last more than 30 seconds on this channel, because I know a fair amount. I've been doing this for 30 odd years. Thank you for your likes. Thanks for getting us over 100 tonight. Thank you for your subscriptions. Don't forget the X. Follow me if you're on Twitter or X or whatever they want to call it. Please follow me at Adrian Allen, and I'll see you there tomorrow. And for another live, it's this coming Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Enjoy your evening. Thank you for not telling me who got booted off Strictly tonight. I'm not going to go and watch it. And I'll see you Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Don't forget the Battenberg. Yeah, wrong.